Yeah. Well, because also that year, the Dodge Stratus,
Ooh.
which is the popular car to live within down by the river.
You are conflating two different things. Are you doing this as a bit?
That's
is this
an
a
SNL
bit?
skit.
No, oh my.
Chris Farley, didn't he say, I live in a Dodge Stratus?
Is this really happening?
Yeah.
Is this real life?
I know that he said van, but there's another bit where he says, I live in a Dodge Stratus. No?
Is this happening?
There's dead silence here.
New for 96. With your hosts, Kevin McCauley and Chris Nguyen.
I do this a lot during meetings.
Oh, yeah.
This motion, I'm waving like a rainbow, like the
I was gonna say,
the more you know rainbow. What were you gonna say? Something offensive, perhaps?
It's possible. It's possible. How's our levels? Are they good? Are we jumping right in?
Is
this the show?
Going off the charts again.
Oh, okay.
With your mirth and enthusiasm, which I don't care for. So, hey, did you realize that we basically have the same garage? Like, our cars are basically the same. I thought about that this morning, that I have a BMW, a Porsche, and a Toyota, and you have a Mini of the BMW era, the Porsche, and a Toyota. Yeah. We have the same thing. Also, your BMW is a 2-door, so never mind. But it's a hatch. So is mine. That's true. Basically, it's a wagon.
They share the radio panel.
Yeah. And
I wonder if there's anything carried over from the LS to the Prius.
Yeah. The window switches.
What?
Are exactly the same.
No way.
Yeah. Can you believe that? Like 25 years different. No. How many years is that? Yours is in 05, 6?
07?
7? How many years is that? 92, 15 years. Okay, so 15 years apart. You know what I'm talking about though? Like
Yeah.
I don't even know how to describe them. They're like little croissants.
Yeah.
Well,
that's like the standard way of making switches now. I think. I wonder if Toyota was early on that. Because it used to be like the Wild West.
It used to be the Wild West, or like just a long switch, like an old school, like this is up, this is down, like rectangle.
It must have been fairly recently that it became like standardized. Like you have to have switches that are basically like this and basically in this place.
I think it was just like
3 years ago.
No, maybe no, that's not true because they're kind of all over the place still. Well, I guess there are no like. Are there any cars with centrally located?
I don't know. I don't know if the position is standardized, but the switch themselves, like the shape is roughly the same everywhere.
Yeah. Jeep Wrangler has them in the center console, I think.
Oh,
still.
That makes sense.
Because
windows.
Because doors
come off.
Because
the Mini, our Mini, the 2012 has like the toggle switches in the center.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
I mean, they're like toggle. They're not even remotely shaped like window switches.
They're just like little like bomb, like missile launching.
Yeah, and on the newer generation, it's just like a lame-o switch.
Oh,
they took out because I think they had to, and also they took out all the fun and whimsy.
That's dumb.
Yeah,
and a shame. But I think eventually everyone did the Toyota thing because it was the most logical thing. Like literally push downwards towards the earth to make it go down and pull it up.
Right. Oh, no, it absolutely makes sense. Like, it's very intuitive. So I wonder if Toyota invented that kind of switch, like how they invented the QR code.
Yeah. Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, I had no idea.
They used it for like internal parts cataloging.
Whoa.
And then it became a thing.
I remember thinking...
I think it was either Toyota or Denso.
Yeah.
Which is like a mostly Toyota
you call
supplier.
It Denso? I call
Denso?
Denso, Washington. I call it Denso.
Oh.
Denso.
It's a word that I've only said out loud maybe once.
I've only ever once said it out loud when the mechanic was trying to find a filter for the rear cabin air purifier in the Celsior.
Oh.
And they said this is the Denso part, and it doesn't exist anymore.
There's all these brands that were in Super GT in the 90s.
Yeah.
And they were in Gran Turismo, and so Denso sponsored a GT500 Supra. It was red and white, and then Ray Brigg, they make headlights. They sponsored an NSX. There was Takata, that infamous company. They sponsored an NSX, and Calsonic. Like all these companies are just forever cool. Like they could literally kill people like Takata did, and I'm still like, they get a pass because they made these cool race cars.
True, maybe. So are they the AC Delco of Japanese cars?
Yeah. Just as I guess Bosch is the European AC Delco.
I guess so.
Motorcraft.
Last thing about those Toyota switches, I remember thinking as a kid I think the first place I ever saw them was either my uncle's 1990 LS400 or my best friend's mom's 94 XV10 Camry. Mm-hmm. And like I used to remember being so wowed that they weren't like up and down switches, like a rectangular up and down switch, and how genius it was. And I must have been 12 maybe at the time. My mom had a Volvo 740, my dad had a Taurus, and both of those had Lamo switches, which were not as cool. And
imagine in like 10 years when all the switches are just like a black touchpad square, and how unsatisfying and terrible that's going to be.
4 levels deep in a touch screen.
Yeah.
Or it will be an Alexa command, because everything Amazon is invading the world with Alexa products as of yesterday. Did you see that?
I don't really pay attention to their things, but I saw that they're getting Samuel L. Jackson to read the
I did
stuff.
not see that, but I just saw one thing today, like it was like a Wired summary or something email, and they have wearable glasses, or not a wearable, but glasses. So it's a bunch of wearables. So it's glasses with Amazon Alexa built in. My Alexa is also going to ring during me saying all this. Mm-hmm. It's a ring that has Alexa built into it, and there's something else like a suppository or something. But it like they're putting it everywhere.
Yeah, but they're literally suppository. Like, you will never hear about these things again.
No.
Like, it'll be like Amazon has had 2 products ever that were a hit, like the original Kindle and the cylinder talking thing.
Yeah, you're trying not to activate it.
I don't want her to get triggered. So, I mean, they have failed at many products. Remember they tried to make phones? Remember they tried to make, you know, like iPad tablets and things?
Yep. Those still sell because they're like $20.
Yeah.
But the article did note that basically if you're going to spend $130 on these spectacles, these glasses, don't expect it to be around next year. You're an early investor or early adopter in something that is clearly a little bit dumb.
Well, Amazon will move on a lot faster than Google did, and Google dropped that shit.
Yeah, I like their scattershot approach versus like Apple, which is like we will focus on one product for the next 10 years and just improve upon that. And Amazon's approach
I like that approach.
I like that approach too. Oh wait, the scattershot or the one thing?
One thing.
Oh, me too.
Oh, I
That's
thought
what
you said I like that better than Apple's approach.
No,
doing something good.
No, I like that's Apple's approach, and Amazon's is just let's just build like a million different devices and see what sticks.
That's the Samsung approach.
Yeah, amazing. So, anyways, back to cars.
If we must.
How have you been?
I've been all right.
Yeah, excellent. Well, good summary. That's a podcast.
Yeah.
So the Taycan, you saw one recently. Taycan. You're gonna make me pronounce Cayman like Cayman again.
I don't have to twist your arm too hard.
Yeah. Taycan. How many people? What do you think the split's going to be between people saying Taycan and Taycan? I'm going to say 75-25, pronouncing it
probably
in favor of Taycan.
Probably.
Also, we live in Texas, so that's my proper pronunciation.
Did you see that graphic going around like last week, and it was like the explanation for how they arrived at this name, and it was insane.
No, but
like it's like, oh, it's like this part of the word, it had it like drawn off, like almost like it was like the verbal version of when you see a logo and it's like split up into all the like circles and art in like perfect radius corners and stuff. It's like the verbal version of that where they have to split up, and it's like the first part, it's like, oh, this means a young active horse derived from the horse like on the crest of Stuttgart, and then can means this, and we'll post it, but it is insane. It was humorous. It was like extreme marketing speak. Yeah. I like the name less now. I'm curious
how they once you actually found out what it meant.
Yeah.
You found out that meant horny horse.
Right.
And now all I can see is one image in my head. And
yep.
So we'll move on from there.
Transferred.
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's exciting. All the reviews are out now.
I haven't read any of them yet.
Oh, it's
but good. Question mark?
I mean, it's cool. I've watched a couple of videos, read a couple of reviews. Friend of the show, Chris Perkins.
Oh, that's right.
It.
Yeah, he did a whole thing in it.
Yeah, he was part of the first wave that went to I think they went to Norway and Denmark and Germany and drove it a few hundred miles.
I'm super excited. Yeah.
Yeah, there's not a lot of surprises at this point, and that's a good thing. And that's cool.
My unsubstantiated evaluation of the car is that it introduces an automotive enthusiasm back into into electrics to start with. That's something beyond crazy acceleration. There's something more to it than instant torque.
Hopefully. I mean, there's still the first stories are really the first articles are really weighing on the repeatability, acceleration, and the power and acceleration. The range that is decent. The charging is good, but the infrastructure where it was tested was not great.
Yeah.
And they said that the electric power steering not as good as it could be. I mean, and that's just always kind of the
Which
thing.
Which is funny because Porsche's kind of spent the last since 981, 991. They've been spending that much time perfecting it, and between the 981 and the 718, there is a market improvement. So I'm surprised that, whatever factors that might have been, but I'm surprised that they couldn't make that work a little better. I wonder if it's a weight thing. Well, no.
I mean, it could just be a matter of, it sounds weird. It could be a matter of okay, who's the target audience? How much road grit and feel do you want in your luxury sedan for this casual buyer? I mean, it could be a matter of they have the capability to have more steering feel there, and they've kind of eliminated some as an NVH quality thing. I mean, I'm just throwing out theories because they do know how to do it, but it's a matter of who are they aiming this at? How are they?
Whole thought it was that this is an uneducated assumption, but that because it's electric, now you can just artificially place everything. I mean, I guess you can't replace the actual rack and all the mechanical bits that might feed into the system, but then I would figure that the electric part of it would allow you to manipulate it any which way you need to produce a certain feel.
That's what I'm saying is that I don't think it's a lack of being able to. I think it's a choice.
Yeah.
Maybe not a choice we want it to be now, but maybe it's a choice where it's what is the balance of ride harshness and absolute feel that we want to give and deliver? In
theory, couldn't that just be programming? Your aggressive mode, make it produce simulated feedback,
right?
And then for comfort mode, just numb it to oblivion.
It could be. Well, the product specialist from the 992, and I need to get the actual documentation about this because I'm really interested in this.
Yeah,
was telling me that the electric power steering I imagine it works almost the same between the 992 and the Taycan. It's basically interpreting the road and then applying motors to give the feel artificially,
and that's what I assumed it would be now, because otherwise a straight up electric power, I mean we've driven cars just Hyundai rental cars with standard electric power steering and it feels like nothing.
I drove one here.
There you go. No, yours is hydraulic.
Is it?
Your Prius has hydraulic steering.
You would not know.
Yeah.
It's got the Buick setting on the power steering boost assist.
Yep. Oddly enough, I did not realize that the Mark 6 GTI, it just never occurred to me that has that has electric power steering.
Really?
Yeah.
There is some weird cars that do, the RX-8 is one of the best steering cars ever. Mm-hmm. And it has electric power steering. It's bizarre.
The technology has been here.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what the differences are.
Yeah.
It'd be really interesting to look into. But yeah, no, I mean, we were talking about minis earlier, and I wanted to say the new generation mini, the steering is so bad compared to the last smaller mini.
I felt that way about the F10 3 Series too. It was just not
the F30
or F30. It was just not there. Mm-hmm. But in theory, we've now evolved into the next generation of or electric power steering
Yeah.
technology. So I am very interested to try both of those cars, 992 and a Taycan.
Yeah, I'm excited for the Taycan, and then
Yeah.
I can only speak visually, but
Good presence?
It looks good. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
got good presence. It's funny. We talked about the wheels, and they launched it with these like very concept car looking wheels with the white car with the white like outer wheel rim, or maybe it was the spokes
Which
are white.
are possibly officially called Fuch style or something.
Okay,
But I could be extremely wrong about
I don't
that.
know. But it really transforms it. Like that makes it look like the concept car. If you want a car, like if you want to make a statement like this is a futuristic electric car,
Oh yeah.
that's going to do that. And if you just have the alloy colored wheels, it looks kind of like a Panamera, but
It
like a nicer
does.
Panamera.
Yeah.
The proportion is similar, and the current Panamera looks good, so it's not a slight. But
No, but
yeah,
if you just wanted that like electric car, you want it to be seen as an electric car and not
right.
as a small, or just people I'm sure will mistake it for a Panamera at some point in time.
Yeah.
I saw a first gen Panamera today in a parking garage. I was just driving past it and just thinking, I'm sure this is not a unique thought, but instead of making it that a fastback and they had actually done like a Sport Turismo treatment to it, it would have just been 100% better looking.
Yeah, I cannot disagree. I mean, when they came out with the Sport Turismo concept, it was like 2013.
Yeah.
And the Panamera looked like the one that you saw. I mean, it just seemed so shapeless. Then
Yeah.
Sport Turismo like gives it this structure that it needed with the rear, where it's
Yeah,
like, look
it
at this defined
completed-
shape instead of this like
It com-
poochy blob.
Yeah, it completed
Paunchy blob.
It completed a thought, which
Yeah.
that's what the first gen, it just seemed like, okay, here are two different cars, we're gonna merge them together.
Yeah.
But
Well, the first, I mean, when that first Sport Turismo concept, again, when it showed, you like the Panamera looked like that. And it was just such a radical thing. Now, obviously, I still think the Sport Turismo is the way to go, but both Panameras look really good. So it's not so drastic, but
I agree.
it used to be very drastic.
cannot wait until Sport Turismos are inexpensive, if they are to become that.
Yeah.
But
Apparently, the take rate is not so good.
I am disappointed with that, but
Yeah.
also I'm not surprised, I guess.
Yeah.
I did like a quick search like last week or something. Just I was curious how much they were going for used now, which obviously, I mean, they're basically still brand new, so they're still at about, I think the cheapest you can get one is like 90 grand.
Okay. Yeah.
But considering there are like $10,000 Panameras right now, first gens, like
Yeah.
I'm hoping one day like
Yeah.
a decent one will be like 15, 20 grand.
I mean, I think if you ordered a like chalk or a cool color Sport Turismo, Mamba Green, like it will be worth twice as much as another same year Panamera with that's not Sport Turismo in
Yeah.
the same in a different color,
Yeah.
like in like 10 years. Because when people like us are ready to buy one, I mean,
Yep.
not saying you should buy it for the nerds like us that are going to still pay you pennies on the dollar.
Yep.
But the people that are going to want one in 5 or 10 years are going to want a Sport Turismo in like a color that is interesting.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know?
Yeah.
And
So spec 'em weird
sedans-
now, people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. We I've seen maybe two on the road. I mean, I see them at dealers
Yeah.
passing by them, but otherwise, yeah, if that sampling is anything
Yeah.
reflective of true sales numbers, then yeah, I could see that.
I've seen a handful, and I see a lot of updated sedans. I mean,
Yeah.
it looks good. It's jarring when you see an old Panamera.
Yeah. Oh, it really is. And there are no, I guess they are on the road still, but they are in poor condition or have been modified to unique choices.
I only see like matte black. It's like what I see.
Yep. To be handing Kevin the bottle.
Yes.
Yes, we should just get one bottle each. That way we don't have to.
Fine. No sharing.
I guess.
How did you even have?
What was
siblings?
that? That was terrible.
Okay.
Try it
Cap is
again.
reinstalled.
Try it again. There we go. Yes.
I'm gonna pour. Okay. I wanted to mention the Formula E car.
Yeah.
Porsche is entering Formula E. We talked about the Taycan for a while, but this sort of transitions neatly. They're entering Formula E, and I'm excited. This last year was going to be the year that I paid attention to Formula E.
Yeah.
And I still didn't. We never talk about it on here, but I'm a motorsports fan. I'm a Formula One fan, and I usually part of it's like I don't have time for Formula E, or I don't schedule it, and then also it's hard to watch. But this year, I'm going to try to pay attention because mercedes-benz is entering, Porsche is entering. Like, it's going to be the cars look cool. It's going to be a whole new level of competition, and then I think in a year they're going to open up development a little bit, so Porsche will put this know-how that they're developing into the cars, and it's exciting. I think it's going to be really cool. They have two of the drivers from the LMP1 program, Andre Lauderer and Neil Yanni.
Okay.
So it's going to be cool. So we should try to pay attention. I've talked to our friend Daniel Golson about this, and he's also the same way. Like with Mercedes joining, with Porsche joining, he's like, I want to try to tune in. So, and also they're on like a weird calendar where I think it starts in November.
And will you have to wake up at 4 a.m. to watch it?
It depends, but they do have more races like in North America than Formula One does, so that at least helps with the time zones a little bit. I think they usually kind of schedule them for an American audience.
It would be
so
great
they might
if
have like night race
they
somewhere else.
Start at noon and end at 2.
Okay,
it would work well with my schedule.
Pass that along.
Yeah. Yep.
That does bring me one more thing about the Taycan. What's exciting? The most exciting thing is like. The Taycan is cool now, but I mean, imagine in 6 years, with like a real update and development, because Porsche never stops. And I don't know how we got through all of this without talking about Tesla, but Tesla doesn't develop. There's things they kind of make some tweaks. They remove color options, and they occasionally say, here's a more powerful version, or an Easter egg. And so the fact that they don't do updates and refreshes, like, it will be interesting to see where Porsche goes, because they're already starting at a high level.
At the very least, like, say for instance that we were talking about the Apple model, like the phone itself has essentially looked the same since the iPhone 6. Yeah. But like the innards have been dramatically changed in and out, and you'd think like with the whole roller skate chassis platform, I mean, and this is an armchair perspective, I suppose, but it seems like it would have been less difficult to put a new body on it, or like to do something to just kind of like invigorate it, because it's the same car it's been since 2012. Is that 2012 was the start?
Yeah.
Yep. But
I mean, it does seem that way, but also this is a company that like
but here's the thing,
doesn't make is not very good at like building cars properly. Like they managed to to get the volume out somehow, some volume, but they're not doing it.
Tesla hater, like
no, we both love Tesla.
Tesla's
we
great.
Are the biggest defenders of Tesla.
The car itself is fine and great. It's the people, the person in charge, and the ardent defenders who, like, without looking at any of the facts or what year it is, like, will defend it to the death.
Right.
And that's where it just kind of all breaks down for me. Yeah. Otherwise, it's a great product, and I would totally buy like a used one. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
What it is.
No, I think it's amazing. I get into rants about this, like, because I feel that there are automotive journalists that do not give Tesla any credit at all, and I mean, Tesla's made like 1 million cars.
Yeah. And on the flip side of it,
there are journalists that want to heap praise on any random startup or whatever electric car company that's not Tesla.
Like what came out today? The stupid truck,
the Bolivar, Bollinger,
which looks just like an undeveloped mule.
Yes.
It's literally just like, it looks like a Defender, like a Defender Series 2, except worse. And I like the Series 2, but it just looks like it wasn't designed on purpose.
Right.
It was just to house some components. But anyways, so maybe it'll be great.
Yeah.
Probably not.
The Tesla and Porsche Nürburgring thing has been interesting. Like, I think we're gonna look back and be like, remember when Tesla and Porsche were like going at the Nürburgring? Like, it's so bizarre.
But it is, and I love the notion, and I didn't really think about it. Not that I was looking at it and saying that, oh my God, how impressive. I thought it was really silly that it was so reactionary, clearly very reactionary to...
You're speaking about Tesla's part.
Yeah.
Because Porsche... Porsche had been on the Nürburgring
they had been doing
testing
and they'd be doing it the official way. Of the car. Yeah. And Tesla comes in with a very specific benchmark that they're shooting to beat, which is 4-door electric. And they're 4-door electric 7-seater.
Well, that's what they went to later.
Yeah.
Because they had to get a record.
Yeah. So, and that being the case, and someone made the analogy too, like we could do it with a Prius too, and find some.
That was when the Porsche was quicker initially. Elon Musk said, "Well, Tesla would do faster if you did enough laps because it has a more range, so it would be able to eventually go more distance." And that's when people said, "Oh, well, you could take a Prius and do that or whatever."
Yeah. Well, and there you go. I mean,
which I'm willing to test.
Here's the thing. Yeah. Oh, you should fly your car over at multiple times the value and hit the ring.
Yeah.
But I will say that the car that they had on the track looked really cool. It had bolt-on fenders and decent looking wheels.
Yeah, giant wheels and brakes that they think were from like a Camaro 1LE or something, like huge.
Which is cool if they actually offer such things.
Yeah.
And they should.
Right.
Like, these are product improvements that would help not naysayers, but just rather like mild criticism that comes from like dummies like us. So
I think they'll probably do a limited run of them that have these modifications, and it'll be cool. I mean, it's all the better for it. I like seeing this kind of electric development. Fast forward, go back to 5 years ago, we just had Audi e-tron concepts.
Yeah.
That was the electric pushing that was happening from manufacturers. So now we're getting like real.
We had the ELR, which I guess was
a hybrid,
series hybrid, but still, it was there. There's an ELR. One of my neighbors has an ELR. I see it every once in a while. I think it's the only one in existence.
Oh, one of my friends got one.
Whoa!
Or he leased one.
Oh,
he didn't. He leased a Volt.
Yeah,
and then the Volt lease ended, and then there was an ELR that had been sitting in the showroom for like a year.
Yeah,
and he was able to basically get it for the same lease price as the Volt.
This is the Cadillac ELR, which is basically a luxury Volt, except that
it had cool
better.
styling.
It had
styling
really
was
cool pretty cool. It looked good.
Yeah, it was, but it was worse because it had more luxury stuff. Yeah. So it was like a little bit less range and a little less performance.
Yeah.
And then right after the ELR came out, the Volt got like a second gen that was superior, and I think it was superior to the ELR.
Superior in technology.
Yes.
It looks so generic though. Like the first one, I thought looked better.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
But what can you do?
That's right.
Yeah. So the Chiron hit 300 miles an hour.
300.
That's pretty fast.
Yeah. It's funny because like just thinking about the Tesla on the Nürburgring, it's like, well, they modified this car and then they do this thing and then they might do a production version later. It's like, well, that's exactly what Bugatti did.
Yeah.
With the Chiron, they showed this modified one with the long tail and the different. I think the engine was stock, but I think it had different aero and different new tires, certain changes.
Yeah.
And then they said, well, this is the Super Sports. And that was a pre-production. I think it's just so cool. I think this is the coolest thing.
It's really cool. There's something different though about like that v Tesla, just because Tesla is
Tesla didn't plan at all. Yeah, it's absolutely different. Like, but I'm going back to that. There was a good article by Rob Holland on Jalopnik, who's a racer, and he said like I was really skeptical. He's like Tesla, like they came out and they did it. They actually did a good job, and they didn't boast too much about times. They said like we're going to come back and do more, but they actually like did a pretty good job with making the car quick, properly quick.
Could we I don't remember if we could see if they tried to lighten it. Like, did they strip out the
they
interior?
stripped like hundreds of pounds out.
Yeah,
I
would
mean,
imagine.
it's totally different.
Yeah, they should sell a lightweight version.
Yeah,
But,
well,
like,
it'd have no interior.
Like in RS America, like model in that it costs less.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that'll happen.
No.
So the Chiron, I think this is so cool. Like, I just love the boundary being pushed, and just the waking up and seeing like this Bugatti went 300 miles an hour. Oh, and it also looks way cooler than the normal Chiron because it has this like extended rear bodywork.
Yeah. It looks like a long tail.
An actual long tail.
Yeah. And did it have special tires?
Yeah,
Okay.
extremely special, like hand inspected
What was I
tires.
say? Like,
I mean, because that's been the debate. You've got these cowboy dipshits like beep J period H period out here in west of Houston, Texas. No one will be able to guess. Saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to go 300 miles an hour in our whatever thing," and it's like Michelin's like, those tires we sent you are not rated for that.
Yeah, they will last maybe 1 second.
Michelin's like, you should talk to us before you attempt that because we do not condone this.
I couldn't even imagine.
And it's just, I don't know. I don't know what it is about me also where I don't like Koenigsegg much. And it's not that I don't like supercars. I just don't like the way that they
I don't like them
supercars.
either. I agree. Like,
I love hypercars. I love technology. And I know that in the last few years they've really done cool things with technology and valve trains and
but
stuff.
There's some personality thing from the brand that's just like it just rubs me the wrong way.
I think it's like because like 15 years ago it was just like there wasn't the technology. It was like these like Ford V8s and things. And now I'm going into my depth where I don't know exactly what I'm talking about, but present day Koenigsegg's I'm still not interested. So it is really cool to see this Bugatti like smash this record.
Yeah. And I don't are there any non-heritage supercar brands that you like? So like
I love McLaren.
Spiker?
Spiker doesn't really. I don't think they really exist anymore.
I dislike Spikers. Just because
no one's asking why.
I know it's just they're so on like. I don't know why I'm going on this tangent, but just from like an industrial design standpoint, like the like part of the thing they hang their hat on is that the interior is just ridiculous, but it's ridiculous in a bad way. Like it's just so overdone, instead of well done.
Well, they're gone, and now Pagani occupies that niche.
And I also dislike Pagani as well. But McLaren has a name in history, and it's not that like these cars are restrained by any means, but there's something kind of like if you're gonna shoot for the stars with a hypercar, there's just something kind of cool about it having existed in history as always having tried, as opposed to it being a brand new thing. At least that's for me.
Well, for me, actually doing motorsports gives you credibility. Like
yes,
that
the car
especially
is
developed and has.
I would agree. That's
like
part of the heritage.
I guess like McLaren currently competes in motorsports, and the other hypercar makers, Ferrari and Porsche, very active in motorsports. It gives a credibility that these cars can also turn well. And there's like an aerodynamic philosophy behind them.
All the more reason, like you can look at the buyer of a certain car and wrongly guess that they bought that because they are a person who cares about racing heritage, and that's why they've bought this. I would say probably 918 buyers more likely. Bugatti buyers probably a little less likely, although the Chiron is still cool. Although that is a very specific set of buyers, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But do you think that the Veyron... I just had like this weird thought in my head. Do you think the Veyron buyer is the same type of buyer that would buy a Chiron, or are they different?
That is a really good question.
I think they're different.
I was thinking that it's got to be like an extremely fickle, set like customer where it's like it has to be the latest, most expensive thing, and every 6 months someone has something more expensive and fancier. And whatever. Like I feel like when the Veyron was launched, we didn't have car YouTubers and people like this and all this stuff. I think it was like, I'm going to buy this Veyron and it's going to sit as this crown achievement of my success over my career, and I will be satisfied with this till the day I die. And now it's like, well, my Chiron is 8 months old, so I'm going to sell it and buy this new Koenigsegg.
Yeah.
And also that's just different. But I feel like there's more people that applies to than there were before. I know that that's not every Chiron buyer.
Yeah.
But I just feel like that is a thing that exists now, certainly.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You think they're different buyers?
I think they're different, but I don't like. There's just kind of the notion that maybe it's just because the Veyron's just been out now, and you can now form like personalities of the people who buy them, and it is such a show car. It is not like an automotive enthusiast car. It's a collector thing, or it's either a collector thing or a show off piece. And I guess the Chiron's kind of the same way. I don't know. Maybe they are the same buyer.
Yeah.
But in my head, I thought for some reason the Chiron might be a more selective type of collector buyer, but maybe not. It's kind of the same. Yeah, it's the same proposition.
I mean, it is.
Yeah. Whatever.
They're both cool. They're both cool.
But speaking of heritage, do we like the new Defender?
I regret being the guy that hates everything, but I don't like it.
I like it. I like it, and we've had this discussion, but I like it as just another piece in the Land Rover lineup. I don't like it as a successor to the Defender name because it shares nothing but I get people's criticism about how it looks like a cartoon, but I think if you look at it as just another, it's a filler in the gap between
it's like a
Discovery
new LR2.
and Discovery and Range Rover, Discovery and LR2. So it falls. I mean, at actually price wise, it's probably going to fall between the LR2 and the Range Rover.
I don't think there is an LR2 anymore.
Oh, LR4 actually, it would have been, but
well, the LR. Okay, so the LR2 was what the Freelander became.
Oh, I know.
They rebadged it. That was the one that was kind of escape-like, and I did find the Freelander / LR2 got like 8 facelifts, and there was one that looked a lot like this Defender.
Yeah.
I feel like this is like Land Rover making like an Xterra. Like that's cool. I get it's just,
I like that. Because I don't like the current Discovery. I think that looks really silly, or the Discovery Sport even.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of they haven't announced pricing, right? I don't think
so. No.
Yeah, like if it's not like outrageous, if it falls in the 50 to 60 range, I think it would just be kind of like a more fun Land Rover, and it's no longer. I think if people hang their hat on it's a utilitarian concept, blah blah blah. I mean, it's the fallacy, and sometimes I fall into the argument of, well, the new Supra is not the old Supra, the new NSX is not the old NSX, and the new Defender is most definitely not the old Defender. And this is just like another kind of, if you're going to pick a Land Rover, I think this is probably, aside from an actual Range Rover, I think this would be the one that I would pick versus, say, a Discovery Sport, or Evoque. Well, I guess it's a Range Rover. So cross out the Evoque out of that equation for Range Rover. But I don't know. It's kind of interesting.
I liked the Evoque before, and I don't like the new one. I think it looks puffier.
I agree. The original one was, especially, do they have a 2-door anymore?
I'm going to guess no, but I'm not sure. Actually, they might.
Because that'd be the interesting one.
Yeah.
And I had a coworker who has been looking for a nicer CUV of some kind, and I was trying to get a list for him. I was trying to make a list for him, and I almost put the Evoque on there until I looked up reliability. And I mean, I should have known this.
Look up reliability.
I should have known this. Although he's high on Volvo, Volvo is at the top of his list, and he had a C30 that flooded in this recent storm. So
he had a C30.
He had a manual C30.
Wow.
And it flooded during Imelda, which was our latest flooding event in Houston.
That's our most recent 500-year flood.
Yeah. And so, and he loved that car, and he is sad to replace it, but now he wants to get something a little bit higher off the ground. Obviously, he's traumatized slightly by it, and so, so I was asking him what his tolerance for reliability is because he wants something European, and he said, oh, yeah, his Volvo has been generally pretty reliable. And then I'm hearing him talk to his insurance company and trying to hype up the insurance value because it's going to be totaled, or it has been. And he's like, yeah, no, it's been pretty reliable. Like, I've done this to it and this, and I have all the maintenance records for it. And yeah, I mean, like, I had to replace the engine once, so it has 18,000 less miles. And I'm like, because reliability is such a relative term. Yeah. So if that's your benchmark, having to replace the engine, then I have a whole list of cars for you that you should consider, including a Range Rover Evoque. But I think so I actually recommended that he look at the CX-5 because that's about the size that he wants. Yeah. And he could get a brand new car. He's looking at used ones. But I don't think he's going to go that route. He's probably going to get an XC60, or I told him to look at, and I think people will poo-poo me for this choice, but I think you should look at a GLA, like a GLA 250 or something. I like it for the fact that you can get them dirt cheap now. They're higher off the ground, but they're not, and he's 6'6", so he needs something like that has some room in it a little bit, and I think it's a really good city car.
I was picturing a first-gen GLK.
No, I don't like those. I mean, if you are going to get because one...
I guess that was the only generation GLK.
Yeah, because then there's the GLC afterwards. I don't know. I think unless you just really want something with more hatch room, which I don't think he needs, the GLA is going to be a little bit sportier. It's going to be... Yeah,
but I don't think the GLA is meaningfully higher off the ground than even...
No, same ground clearance as the rest of their CUV lineup, basically. So this is just like a little bit more compact. And I know that this has a slimmer roof line, but I feel like you're gonna get a lower mileage car. It's just gonna be either more features, lower mileage, or newer, all of the above. And if you just don't care about cars and you just need something that's kind of nice and easy to get around and semi-satisfying to own, which honestly I usually wouldn't recommend like a Mercedes for that. I would have said, actually I don't know, like, because if I was in that market I would get like an X5 4.8 IS or something.
I saw one the other day.
Oh yeah, I like those, but that's a high tolerance for pain type of ownership experience, and it's old. So okay, what would you have recommended for a CUV in the $25,000 range, but newer, used or new? Go.
I am of the mind. I either want an SUV or a car.
True.
So I would say like a 4Runner, which is not a CUV, but like that will get you through floods.
But it has to be sort of like he's on the premium mark like idea. Like
I can't talk to this person.
Here's the thing: is that like because when I have mentioned the Mazda, which honestly I think the Mazda is the true good answer here. It feels premium. It's just not a premium mark.
What about the Lexus NX?
He wants a European car.
You did not tell me any of these things before.
Fine. It has to be European. He has very specific parameters for this. It has to be European. And it needs to be slightly unique, which I think the GLA is.
What's the cheapest Macan you could get?
Oh, not 25. Probably.
What
35.
About a really good Touareg?
Yeah, I don't think that's like worth the ownership experience from maintaining it. And I had this conversation with him, and I said, if you're going to keep this car for 10 years, which car do you see yourself willing to pay money to upkeep? Say, for instance, replacing an engine and still feeling okay with it. And so he's fine with like the idea of this Mercedes. Again, I think he's going to go with the Volvo XC90 or XC60 at the end of the day. Audi has been ruled out and good. Same with BMW. Although I thought the other thing is the thigh support, because he's really tall, super long legs.
So like the seat extension.
I think
the Touareg. I think a Touareg would be really good.
I like the idea of the Touareg a lot,
Especially
Personally,
if you've got like 25 to spend, you could get one that's like a few years old and save 10,000 to fix it.
the current day Touareg, I looked them up this morning on BRZO actually. Like I was just kind of curious.
Yeah.
And you can get a TDI Touareg in brown.
Okay.
Lux package.
What year are we talking? Like 12?
Yeah, like 12-ish.
Yeah.
For between $10,000 and $15,000.
That's the thing to get.
Isn't that insane?
That is insane.
I just feel like it's gonna be a lot of trouble.
I mean, my brother-in-law's is like at 100,000 miles, no trouble. Original owner.
Yeah, but this is. I feel like everyone's again. They're kind of like, because my sister-in-law had a Touareg, same gen V6 though, and she had all sorts of trouble with it. So I don't know. Anyways, we're prattling on about this. You didn't say one. Okay, you said Touareg. Fine. I'm gonna recommend that tomorrow. Although he said he sat in a new Tiguan and didn't really care for it.
Okay, that's completely different.
Maybe, but that's a different gen, and I feel like they're kind of merging in size and quality.
But I mean, the Touareg was always way more premium than
it is. No,
the Tiguan.
totally.
It's gonna have better seats and better comfort.
But
I mean,
the shame is that the first gen was also way more differentiated as a premium, and I feel like when Volkswagen kind of watered down their design language, that the Touareg and the Tiguan now kind of basically look exactly
well, the Touareg
the
is
same.
gone now.
The Touareg is gone now, but they basically look like that Touareg and the Tiguan look the same, kind of, or very similar.
Yeah, I mean, but if you're going back to like 2012, you don't have that problem.
Yeah, that's true. Anyways, all right. So, speaking of daily drivers, Kevin.
Yes.
How's your Prius doing?
Okay, I'm gonna try to make this as brief as I can. I called you after this happened, like the next day, but yes. I was driving to the Woodlands. So the car, there's no way I can make this brief. So as you know, dear listener, last year I replaced the battery. So this service, they came to my house and they fixed the battery, and they give you a rebuilt one. They install it, all this stuff. It takes like 25 minutes. I had problems with that. I was told, I went to a shop, I had problems. I was told it was the battery. Like all the lights came on in May. This was in May of this year. So I called the place that did the battery. I'm like, hey, I've got this 2-year warranty on this battery. What do I do? And they said, oh, bring it to this one shop in Southwest Houston. And so I brought the car, and this was months ago, and they like spent all day with it, and they said, okay, this is your problem. Your ABS, there's some ABS faults, and it's sending too much power to one part of the battery cell, and it's overloading it, and it's causing these faults. And they didn't charge me, and they didn't give me any paperwork, and I immediately forgot all of this information, and I didn't do anything to fix it. So let's say 4 months later, when all the lights come on the dash again, I was like, oh, this is that problem rearing its head again. I'm just going to have them fix it under warranty and then sell this car. So I drove it for, we'll say 1 or 2 days with all the lights on the dash.
And
yes,
shall we like postcursor this as this was supposed to be your reliable?
This is supposed to be my reliable car
driver. So
what I am working up to, well, I guess I'm justifying why I drove with all the lights on, because it had been fine before. So friend of the show, Will Pierce, stopping through town a couple weeks ago. So I went to the Woodlands to visit him. He'd been driving all day, so I was like, okay, I'll go up there. And so it's like a 40-minute drive, like 25 miles or something. I get on Hardy Toll Road. The lights had been off. Somehow they had turned off. I get on Hardy Toll Road. Immediately all the lights come on. I was like, okay, fine. So then after about 10 miles, I lose drive. Like it goes into neutral and I can't do anything. And then the computer, like the central screen, I don't remember if the actual dials in front of me turned off, but the center screen like rebooted.
Yep.
And the Toyota logo came up. And once it kind of woke up, I was able to put it back into drive. Like it had gone into neutral and I couldn't force it into drive. So I'm going like 70 miles an hour on the highway. Thankfully, there's not that many cars around. And I put it in, it's in neutral. So I'm just coasting, and then it reboots and I go into drive. And I'm like, oh, this is bad. So I'm like turning off air. I'm trying to do whatever I can to conserve whatever. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's done. And then it happened again. And then it happened again. And then it started happening every like minute and a half. And so it was probably about 20, 30 seconds of downtime where I'm just coasting. So I got into this rhythm where I would speed up to 80 miles an hour. it would shut off. I would go into neutral. I couldn't get out of neutral, and then it would wake up, and then I would put it back in drive and keep going and build up that speed again.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, well, this is not so bad.
Yeah.
I'm like 10 miles from the Woodlands where I'm ultimately going. So it's like, okay. And so I keep doing this. I exit, and that's when I realized, like, I kind of had a sense that when it was rebooting, I also lost power steering. And I didn't realize I lost power brakes. So I'm exiting, and I'm so used to keeping the speed way up. So it shuts off.
Yeah.
And I'm going down the exit, and then a car in front of me is like slowing down. So I'm like, oh, I better slow down. And it's like, I step on the brake, and it's like no power brakes.
Oh, God.
Lock up the tires. Yep. It like kicks to the right. I almost sideswiped like the row of barriers.
Yeah.
And then regained it. And it was fine.
This is terrible.
It was terrible. And so then I'm driving on this road with a lot of traffic, and I went about a half mile, but I thought it was hard driving on the highway with no power. But let me tell you, it's much, much worse being stuck in neutral on a road with traffic lights, because I would have drive.
This is the ultimate in hypermiling.
This is.
Yeah.
I have never had such an unreliable experience in a car. I mean, I guess I've had stuff that wouldn't start, but this is so much worse.
Yeah.
Like, this is so much more dangerous. Like, and so, and also I was stupid to keep going, but I was already invested at this point. So
Yeah.
I'm like at a red light, and I've got drive, and then it turns green, and then
Yeah.
it just like shits itself. And so I'm like, oh, I'm sitting there, and everyone's honking and going around me and stuff. This happened to me through 2 lights, and then I just pull into the nearest parking lot, and I called a tow truck.
Yep.
And the worst part is it was like a $300 tow to tow it to the one shop that I needed to go to that I have the warranty with.
Yep.
And I didn't go too really far away. I just was like, okay, send the car there, leave a key with it.
Yep.
They can deal with this in the morning.
Yep.
And there's someone at the shop, and he's like, calls me 10 o'clock at night. I'm at a bar, and he's like, yeah, that shop, it's not here anymore. They're not here anymore. We're a different business, different car repair place.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh God. So I just ignored it. Or I mean, I didn't ignore it. I blanked out. I just was like, okay, I'll just deal with this tomorrow. Just let me leave the car there tonight, and I'll come down there and straighten this out. And so it turns out the place that fixed my battery was like really close, like a block away. They moved, but this place actually, they looked at it, even though I said don't look at the car. They looked at it, and they said it was my normal battery and water pump.
12 volt
battery. So I replaced those, and I guess it's fine. Although I'm getting like 34 miles to the gallon.
Amazing.
I hate this car so much. And also, when you have a hybrid and you have any kind of problem, it's like having a hammer, and every problem is a nail. It's like every problem is a hybrid battery problem. Like, I just assume like, well, this is related to the hybrid battery.
That's like, there must have been something must have happened to your car.
Yeah, it probably flooded in one of our 14 500-year floods.
Probably. Well, you bought the car from Austin, though.
Yeah, there's no way they could get a car from Houston to Austin.
No,
if it's flooded.
Clearly not. Even though, like, between Houston and Austin was the salvage
where they
yard.
store them. Yeah.
But yeah, that's so strange, because I mean, I had this gen Prius like way back, and
3 months ago.
3 months ago. In 2008 through 12, something like that. And it was super reliable, except for the xenon lights, which are super expensive.
Don't worry, I've had those problems too.
They're like $700 a piece to replace the bulbs. And they have like New York taxis that go like 300,000 miles. No prob, Bob.
Yeah.
And your car, just one problem after another. And it gets worse mileage than just a new 4-cylinder
much worse
car.
much worse.
Yeah, so you should sell that and buy
I
something else.
Yes
Yeah. Ugh. I just remember that scene from Friends when Rachel said that she kissed a girl once, and she described it as it was the sound of coconuts knocking, because they were wearing like coconut bras, and it driving Joey crazy. And apparently that's just like a heterosexual male trigger.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Coconuts knocking. Anyways.
Yeah.
So, shall we play a game of Fuch? Marry Kill.
Oh my God, it's been so long. I forgot.
It's
what
been
this
so
is
long.
even
I
called.
don't even know now. What year could we go?
Yeah. Hey, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What is this show called?
What show?
New for 96.
Oh, right. We didn't introduce the
Yeah.
damn thing.
We'll add that back to the beginning. I won't. Okay.
That'll be at the
Marry,
very
Kill.
end, yeah.
All right. So, what's the year, Christopher?
Why don't we go with 1994?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. 94. A lot of stuff.
Did you say Lada stuff?
Lada stuff. And no Ladas came out that
Okay.
year, actually.
All right.
Every
Every Audi came out that year.
Audi came out. Not a lot of good stuff, gotta
Well,
say.
let's go through. We're gonna anything we don't know, we'll skip.
Okay.
A4,
Yeah.
Audi A6,
Yeah.
Audi A8,
Yeah.
Audi RS2.
Oh, these were the good
Audi S6.
Audis.
Those were the good Audis.
Yeah, these are the good Audis.
Yeah, the thumbnail's not going to help us
Yeah.
out there. But that was the good A4.
Actually, wasn't the Alpha 145 good? Maybe.
I'd
Not.
say no.
No, wait. They had a sedan version. No. Oh, maybe this is not a good one. No, it's not good. Okay.
Yeah, I think that sedan was like 147.
Fine. Ooh, the E38 came out. Oh, that's good.
Oh my! You
Yeah.
know, this is the first car ever with HID.
No.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
it's like the one full-size luxury feature that didn't originate on the S Class.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing? As a side note, back to your Prius for just 1 second.
Please.
Did you know that they offered HIDs on your second gen Prius because they would last longer and they are more energy efficient, therefore more green?
I
Except
believe
that
the second part.
they don't last that long and they
Right.
cost $700 to replace each. And so you go through them and they're very expensive. Okay,
Yeah.
on to the next. Ooh, the Cirrus.
Oh,
Chrysler
my.
Cirrus.
Yeah.
This is when they were going through their whole cloud thing.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
God, it's worse than I remember.
What's great is that when you we're a little bit of into the weeds here. We're on Wikipedia and we see all these cars in a list, and you can click in the notes and see this list we're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Any car like an A4 that's had multiple generations, that thumbnail when you roll over it is going to be the latest version. Chrysler Cirrus, there's only one.
There's only one.
There's only one Cirrus.
It looks like, a deformed like Concorde, Chrysler Concorde.
It's like a Dodge Avenger with like a baleen in the front.
It's bad. The Chrysler Neon came out that
Ooh.
year.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
all right.
the first one was
First one was good.
a good car.
I liked it. Not good to drive, but
Courage C41, a race car.
Ooh, you
You were probably going to say Courage, weren't you?
I was
you were
gonna
gonna say Courage.
because I liked the dog.
Okay, so the Dodge Avenger, man, that really went downhill.
Yeah.
The
So
first
94.
one,
The first one was fine because it was a Mitsubishi 3000 GT.
No,
Oh
that's
no,
the
I'm thinking
Stealth.
about the Stealth.
my God, how are you
Dumb.
even qualified to do
The
Fuch, Marry, Kill?
I forget that the Avenger was more like the Sebring. It was the Sebring, wasn't it?
I think they were all the Sebring.
Yeah. Well, because also that year, the Dodge Stratus,
Ooh,
which is the popular car to live within down by the river.
you
that
are
was an-
conflating two different things. Are you doing this as a bit?
That's
Is
an
this a bit?
SNL skit.
No, oh my!
Chris
oh.
Farley, didn't he say, I live in a
No.
Dodge Stratus?
Is this really happening?
Yeah.
Is this
Well, he
real
said,
life?
I know that he said van, but there's another bit where he says, I live in a Dodge Stratus. No?
Is this happening?
There's dead silence here. What are you doing?
I'm gonna add in more silence
Oh
just to
my
make my
God.
point. No. Will Ferrell said at dinner,
Yes.
Sarah Michelle Gellar was his daughter,
Oh my
and
God.
I think Anna Gasteyer was his wife, and he said, they were all criticizing him, and
Yes.
he's like, I'm a powerful man. I drive a Dodge Stratus, and that's what he
Oh,
said.
fine. Okay, it was
And
not Chris Farrell.
Chris Farley
Oh,
had the I
Chris
live in a
Farrell.
van down
Damn
by
it.
the river.
All right, you're going to have to edit all this out because I just realized that I've literally conflated all these names and all these skits.
Don't worry, I will edit this
Doesn't
to
matter.
the very
Whatever.
front of the show.
Eurofans. That's a brand.
What?
Huh. It looks like a Peugeot.
It's from a family
Oh.
of the Citroen, Peugeot, Fiat, and Lancia.
It's a
models.
Citroen, a Peugeot, a Fiat, a Lancia.
Yes.
All together. They shared what looked like a GMT 2.
It's like the Eurofighter.
Yeah.
Ooh, F-355.
Ooh.
Okay, great car. Okay, Contour.
Good
First of all, why is
car.
the Contour italicized? Second of all, do you remember
'Cause-
the original launch campaign for the Contour?
I don't. Oh,
Where it
maybe
was
it was like
like
really sporty.
No, it was like really
whatever.
large. I feel like it was. I'm gonna look up this commercial now, but it was like there was people working on it on like scaffolding, like as if it was the size of the Hindenburg.
This sounds really weird.
Because it cost like it was like the first car where it cost like $2 billion to make a car. And
yeah, it was a Ford Mondeo.
Yeah.
So it was a car for the world.
It was a world car. Yeah.
But here we called the Contour because we don't like other nations, so we can't think of the rest of the world. So it's a Contour. It has shapes.
Yeah.
It had ovals.
Yeah.
Angry ovals.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was the LCI.
That was the LCI.
That was the LCI.
Yeah.
But the Contour SVT was cool.
It was cool, yeah.
Yeah.
The interior was tragic.
Awful. But I loved the idea of that car. I remember even as a kid.
I drove one. My friend's mom had
Manual?
one. Yeah, they're all manuals.
Oh.
It got totaled because of like basically it was fine. It was just like cosmetics because it was so expensive to get that body kit.
It's European. That's what you get for buying a worldly car.
Yeah.
Okay. We didn't get the Falcon here.
Oh, the Windstar.
Ooh, the Windstar.
Which generation is that?
No, the Windstar. It looks.
Oh, the OG Windstar.
That one.
Yeah,
look at
94.
that.
Yeah.
This is like the quintessential generic cartoon minivan.
It really is.
It just looks like minivan.
Yeah.
Okay, so but the Odyssey, I actually like the first gen Odyssey because it was the regular 4-door.
Yeah.
Minivan, kind of like a Pacifica is now, or the old one.
And I think it had like a normal V6 that was related to like all these other Hondas.
And it was also an Isuzu, which we might see here. Nope, they don't list it, but it was also an Isuzu something. But I thought it looked good. Okay, so a Hyundai Accent also came out this year, which is guaranteed to be not good. So we'll move on to the XJ of that year. That was the first year of when I thought they started like looking. I mean, the classic ones now look really good, but this was when they kind of modernized, I guess. And the R. This is the first generation with the R.
Yeah.
When
did that come out? Like 95 or 6?
I don't remember, but man, that looks so good with those like kind of monoblock wheels.
The 5 spokes.
So good. Okay, Lancia Kappa. We didn't get that. Don't know what Maruti Esteem is. The Quattroporte, but not from not the Quattroporte that we know.
No.
I guess this is the square one, maybe. Oh, it would be okay. That's enough. Oh, it's so square. Yeah. It actually looks way cooler than the one that
Ghibli.
What do you mean? Oh, you mean like period Ghibli?
Yeah.
Yeah. With the Quattroporte 4.
That's really cool. I've never seen that.
Yeah. Mazda family van Familia van, not to be mistaken for the Mazda Familia van.
Pajero Mini,
which is I guess is a 3-door. Oh, it's a K car or key car. Are you quite all right?
I'm okay.
Nissan Lucino, which we did not receive. Looks like a Sentra 2-door. Nissan Rasheen. Oh, wow. Whoa, that's weird.
That's cool.
It's like a wide, retro, futuristic SUV. Oh, wait, is that a Wrangler? It almost looks like a Wrangler.
It looks a lot better than the new
Cherokee,
Defender.
I should say. No, that's mean. Oh, I liked this Aurora, actually. The first gen Aurora was really cool.
It was, that looks so good.
It does look cool. And note that they don't show the second gen here in the Avatar.
Curious.
Indeed. That one is not to be recalled. But the first gen...
It's not canon.
No. The first gen is pretty cool. Pontiac Sunfire. Oof.
Ooh.
Skoda. We didn't get the Felicia.
Subaru the first Outback.
That's cool. First one was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was marketed towards lesbians.
Yep. It was actually. It was Richard.
It was. It's not a.
This is because we were both
pejorative.
we were both in advertising.
We'll link to that podcast. Which one was it?
I don't remember, but the brief story on that is that Richard's Group out of Dallas, Texas. It's an ad agency, and they were tasked with marketing Subaru, and through market research, they found that a large part of the demographic that bought Subaru Outbacks were lesbian couples, and so they had these kind of subtle commercials where they'd feature 2 women who could be friends or could be more.
Oh.
But they would have little Easter eggs, like say for instance
You mean coconuts?
Yes, coconuts. They would have like the plate would say Xena on it or something. The custom plates. So, anyways, it was kind of interesting and also like very ahead of its time. Okay, so next up, the Tata Sumo, which sounds like an oxymoron,
It
but
looks pretty cool.
yeah. Oh, the first Avalon. The Toyota.
Did you like the first Avalon? Because you were fully
immersed in
Toyota.
I thought it was fine. I guess it was just a big. I didn't like it.
Camry.
I didn't like it because it wasn't the Cressida. Because it was the successor to the Cressida. But
okay, but how did you even? Oh yeah, I guess the Cressida was sold here. I forgot that was sold here.
It was here. It was a Mark. That was a Mark II. Or it was a Mark. Sorry. What can I think of the name?
4.
Mark 4. Yeah, whatever the sedan was. I can't recall now off the top of my head. But anyways. But we didn't get the cool engine. We just got the inline 6, I think it was at the time. No, it was a V6 maybe. Anyways, Toyota Curran, we didn't get that. Don't know what. Oh, it looks like a Paseo.
Oh yeah, it's cool.
RAV4. Oh, I didn't know that was the first year.
Pretty cool. The old 3-door.
Yeah, Venturi 400.
Wow, I remember that from Gran Turismo.
Wow,
it's French.
That's optimistic as fuck.
Yeah.
All right, Volkswagen Pointer, which is the truck, I think. No, lying.
It is their 318 Ti.
Yeah, and then the Polo, which we did not get.
Okay, well, there's a lot of stuff we did not get.
So,
but all the Audis.
You're gonna give me my selections for FMK and then IU.
Okay. I mean, I could go mean with this and say like, yeah, I'll do that. All right. I'm
Go on, because I've got my 3.
Okay. All right. I already know your 3 are all based on the same Chrysler platform.
You don't know me.
Okay. I'm gonna say
yes.
I'll cut out 15 minutes of silence.
Yes.
Honda Odyssey.
Mm-hmm.
Subaru Outback and Toyota Avalon.
Whoa, Normcore set. Well, I think I would daily the Outback because it's mildly interesting.
And good for floods.
Good for floods. F the Honda Odyssey because it's not quite for me, although I didn't mind it. And I guess that just means I'm gonna F the Avalon, which is weird, but okay.
You said F2 of
Oh,
them.
sorry. I'm gonna marry the Outback because I'm gonna daily that, and then F the Avalon. F the Avalon.
What, you're gonna kill the Odyssey.
I'm gonna kill the Odyssey.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh God, I got all that. I just mixed up FMK so bad there.
It's okay.
Whatever. Okay. So for you,
yeah,
my friend, I will go the opposite approach. Instead of throwing you under the bus,
I did no such thing.
Going to go with a Chrysler Cirrus, not Sirius. Ford Contour,
I did that earlier.
Ford Contour,
All
and
right.
Oldsmobile Aurora.
Oh,
I give you good ones.
Yeah. I'm gonna daily that Oldsmobile.
Good choice. Comfy car.
Yeah, I will. I'm gonna F the Cirrus. I'm gonna kill the Contour only because that interior like made me physically ill to be in.
I'm surprised
it was so
this
beige.
Is not the opposite that you're gonna slum it with the Cirrus, but okay.
Well, no, I'm only gonna drive it once.
True, I suppose.
I could drive it 10 feet.
Yeah, that's true. All right, there we go. That's what we've got for the year of 1994. Okay.
Wow, you made it through that.
Yeah, this has gone long enough, so I think we should end this.
Yes, let's end it right now.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Now.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to follow us on @New496 on Instagram and email us should you have complaints. Or that's it, I guess. I mean, you don't only have complaints.
Whatever.
There's
no ads on Instagram, by the way.
New496@gmail.com.
Yeah.
All right. See you next time.
Bye.
Goodbye.